5 minutes, 5 questions. And this will be the end, so you're almost done. Dr. Gottlieb, black mold. All of the areas that we've talked about, everybody knows there's going to be some black mold issues, but here's one of the issues that I'm not sure most Americans know. What are the symptoms? Because obviously, if you see it, you're going to do something about it or try to do something, but oftentimes it's a hidden concern. So what should people be on the lookout for? You want to take it?
I defer to CDC if that's
all right. That's fine.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Chairman, that flooding leads to mold contamination. There are two different hazards from exposure to mold. One is the worsening of allergic conditions, and that can be quite serious in the case of somebody that has asthma that's sensitive to mold. The other is particularly for people who have weakened immune systems, infection from mold that also can be very serious.
But how are they going to know? I mean, I recognize the seriousness. What are they going to be seeing?
Well, I think when building materials have been damaged, I think if mold can grow on it, it will. And so really it's a question of remediation. In other words, for porous surfaces, removing those surfaces and rebuilding, and for surfaces that aren't porous, cleaning them. That's the guidance in those areas is what CDC has been providing, working with the Texas Department of Health.
All right. I guess I'm concerned is if you don't see it and you don't know it's there. I mean, I know that you're going to start having some rasping, particularly if you have asthma, but what if you don't know about that? I mean, isn't that one of the first ways you tell you start having some chest congestion? And
well, I think if for areas that have floodwaters, you can tell where that flood water has been, and just
then you
needs
just
to be
do the
removed.
remediation. All right, Dr. Kedlick, it's been a month. We have any hospitals in Puerto Rico that are not accepting patients?
Sir, there are about, if I remember correctly, about 3 that are closed. So there are some that have been
that aren't
physical
open.
damage to the point where they could not accept.
And the ones that are open, are any of them refusing to accept patients?
So on a daily basis, I don't know what their census are, but it could be the circumstance where they divert patients. So I can't give you an affirmative answer. But if
we've talked about dialysis before. Any other specialized treatments that are currently unavailable at various hospitals?
Well, sir, dialysis is available through the 46 or the 48 clinics on the island. Depending on the hospital, there may be some services that are not available, so I can't give you affirmative. If I can take that for...
Let me ask you this. Are they still, because I read a report somewhere that even though dialysis was available, they were cutting short the treatment time period from what it normally would be. Is that still the case?
Sir, it is, and we're looking to actually work that problem out in terms of lowering the stress on some of those clinics where they see fewer patients or defer patients to places that have more functionality.
And that brings up the Comfort, the United States Navy ship Comfort.
Yes, sir.
It's sitting out there, haven't had a whole lot of patients. What is, and this is a question my colleague gave to us earlier, what is the approval process or the admission process to get on or to be approved for the Comfort?
Yes, sir. The plan is very simple, is that the island was kind of not cut in half, but based on the swath of the hurricane that came through, westward side, eastward side. On the east side, referrals of any high acute patients, intensive care patients that need to be made from hospitals that are on the east side of the island would go to Centro Medico, which is their level 1 trauma center, and that would be done through ground or rotary wing transportation. The determination of whether those patients would be moved to Centro Medico, same as to the Comfort, would be based on decisions by clinicians at Centro Medico that would review and talk to the doctors at the local hospitals to say, what is this patient suffering from? What kind of care do they need? What kind of services they need?
And I appreciate
so based on that, then they would be transferred eastward.
One of my concerns, I recognize some might argue that it's good that you haven't sent more to the Comfort. I think we've got an asset down there we're not using. Dr. Gottlieb, biggest long-term concern that you have, both for Puerto Rico and otherwise, what's your biggest concern that FDA may be having?
My biggest long-term concern right now from a public health standpoint is that we may face product shortages of critical medical products heading into the first quarter. We're going to do everything we can to head them off. My biggest long-term concern for the island of Puerto Rico is that if we don't do our job and help these facilities stand back up in a timely fashion, we could start to see some of the production move out of the island, and I think that would put a strain on the Puerto Rican economy. And so part of our solidarity to the people of Puerto Rico is to make sure we can maintain that production down there. It's an important part of the island.
And I appreciate that. I see that my time is up. I yield back. Anything?